Shalom. Shalom and welcome. This is Yasharal, Living Orders and Commands. It is an end-time series for those who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, the Almighty Creator. For He knows all, He sees all. He knows the very intent of all who exist, will exist, and have existed. He knows your heart. And if you indeed pursue the will of the Almighty Father, you will come to discover truth like never before and come to discover life and life immeasurably, made possible by Him. With that said, this is part 2 of a multi-part segment entitled Temple Deceptions. My name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I am compelled to present before Yasharal. I say to you, Shalom and welcome back. If you are tuning in from part 1, if you're returning as a result of listening to part 1, I salute your patience, your tolerance, your desire to pursue set-apartness, your love for Yahushua Mashiach. I salute you. If you're tuning in for the first time, I invite you to listen to part 1 at the very least of this multi-part segment in order to get the full benefit of this topic, of this message. I praise the Almighty Father Yahuwah for allowing me to be a participant in His set-apartness made possible by Yahushua Mashiach. I pray that anything coming from me that is confirmed to be set apart, that the Almighty Yahuwah gets all credit and esteem, and that it contributes to Yahushua Mashiach being lifted up. Let us come to know that in our worship and obedience, Yahushua Mashiach is lifted up, and it is He, the Spirit of Yahushua, that indeed draws men, women, and children to Himself. And in the drawing power, we find ourselves coming together, O Yasharal. Let us not be remiss, and remember, no man, woman, or child can be drawn unless the Almighty One, Yahuwah, draws them. Seek to discern the wholeness and what the scriptures say regarding being drawn together in unity. For soon it will make more sense and it will be more clear to an awakening nation under the banner of Yasharal, consisting of true, real live Hebrews, Abrim, and Gentiles, or Goyim, other nations that seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, grafted together as one by Yahushua Mashiach under the banner of Yasharal. Pray and watch. With that said, let us continue on the matter of temple deceptions. In spite of all that I've presented, end-time prophecy teachers are directing people's eyes towards the building and erecting of the third temple of Israel. Many of you probably disagree and have embraced the belief or notion that during end times, the third temple of Israel is very critical and real. End times are here. And more than anything, time will prove that this is the season to earnestly seek out the living presence of He who is the Almighty One, the Creator, the beginning, the end. That He will prove that this is a season for discovering Him like never before. He will prove the need to develop a sense of urgency and discern the presence of His set-apart Spirit, the living Savior of Yahushua Messiah. He will prove that it is a time to focus on Him. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. Planetary conditions are eroding. This planet is dying as it relates to life from a natural and practical perspective. We are witnessing evil and wickedness rise beyond measure. We are witnessing our planet die rapidly, and it's starting to accelerate. As I mentioned before, there are 4 things of grave importance to live from a practical and natural perspective. They are fresh air, fresh water, food, and a safe place to live. Who is able to notice that I did not say a temple? CO2 and methane gases are rising into our atmosphere at a rate uncontrollable with no real solutions in sight from a natural and practical perspective. Global warming and climate change are producing erratic weather patterns beyond belief. The very fresh air we breathe is degrading with each passing day. Prolonged and widespread drought continues in areas where much of our foods are grown. Soon and very soon we will witness food shortage larger than we could have ever imagined, resulting in the most devastating famine ever known to man. Pestilence and disease of many varieties are emerging with each passing day, wreaking havoc on our health, the health of men, women, and children. World leaders and scientists and those who are awake have witnessed warnings in the form of words such as extinction level events, tipping point, peak levels, point of no return, depopulation, and many more with no practical solution in sight. We are witnessing the approaching of a planet known to some as Nibiru, Planet X, or Wormwood. There's a gentleman by the name of Gil Bouchard, who have put some information out there aligning his belief with this Planet X as it relates to scriptures. I invite you to research that and consider just listening to it. His content is under the label Planet 7X. And he speaks of a time that is growing close. Could these be the fulfillment of be a contribution to the fulfillment of the signs of the times? I believe they are. My brothers and sisters, we who are pursuers of righteousness, set apartness, know that the Almighty Father Yahuwah, through his set apart spirit, sent in Yahushua's name, has created a plan of which we will face total extinction. For the scriptures tell us that their time will come when we will put off the corruptible and put on the incorruptible. Does this not describe the total extinction of man as we know it? Who is able to discern the realities of such instructions? Notice, in all that I have stated regarding the sustainability of man, or at the very least our final steps during these end times, I did not make mention of a need to be focused on a temple. Beware of the influence and wickedness of temple deceptions regarding buildings made with hands. My brothers and sisters, one important thing to realize for these end times is that it is written that judgment begins at the house of the Almighty One first. Let me pause for a moment and read that. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17 through 19 is what I want to share with you. It reads as follows: because it is time for judgment to begin from the house of the Almighty One, and it firstly from us. What is the end of those who do not obey the good news of the Almighty One? It say from us. It didn't talk about a building. It's talking about us. My brothers and sisters, we are the house of the Almighty One. It goes on to say in the 18th and 19th verse, and if the righteous one is scarcely saved, where shall the wicked and the sinner appear? So then those who suffer according to the desire of the Almighty One should commit their lives to a trustworthy Creator in doing good. It's talking about us. It's talking about those who physically walk and dwell and live and who have been on this earth. It's talking about individuals, not a building made with hands. Many people fail to realize that it is time for us to realize what is most important when in regards to our tabernacle, our tent, our temple, our house, a house of the Almighty Father made possible by Yahushua Mashiach. We are made one with him in spirit. And yes, our flesh will continue to war against the spirit until we are transformed. My brothers and sisters, do you honestly believe that what I just read was talking about a temple made with hands? I submit to you, the information I present in this multi-part segment has the power by the might of Yahushua Mashiach's spirit to free us from strongholds regarding temple deceptions. Given what I've presented thus far, it should be easy for us to discern that we have been conditioned beyond measure to place too much stock or emphasis on buildings made with hands. I present to you why many believe the third temple of Israel is so important. I will present to you where I believe they've gathered some of that information and how deception has come regarding this third temple. But before I get into that subject matter, I want to talk about a group. There's a group in scriptures described as the synagogue of Satan. I submit to you that this group, the synagogue of Satan, have amassed wealth beyond measure and have manipulated education systems, media, governments, nations, religions, and more, much more, to get the world to believe that life is centered around them, that they are the chosen ones. They are the synagogue of Satan, and they are promoting a story of fictitious, a wicked, and erroneous plot to deceive many. Let me read the following to you, my brothers and sisters. Matthew 24:23-25. It says, if anyone then says to you, look, here's the Messiah, or there, do not live. For false messiahs and false prophets shall rise, and they shall show great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the chosen ones. See, I have forewarned you. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, the synagogue of Satan wants to build this third temple, which they claim to be a temple of Israel. Is that not the ultimate structure to direct people to think that that's where the Messiah is? When they build this building and say, here is the chamber of the Holy of Holies, or the set apart chamber, and they manipulate the world to believe that the anti-Messiah, the Antichrist, will step into that most set apart of chambers. Does that not draw people's attention to think that that's where the Messiah is, in that Holy of Holies, in that chamber of chambers, a set apart place? And that's where the anti-Messiah is going to go. Will go. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. This is the ultimate of deception. Notice that the 24th verse in the 24th chapter say, if possible, it will fool even the chosen ones. My brothers and sisters, know this. The promise and prophecies of the Most High Father will be fulfilled. All that is written will prove to be true and very real. End time prophecy will be fulfilled, and it is not based on a maybe or a might. They are a reflection. End time prophecies are a reflection of a plan that belongs and has been created by the Almighty Father since the dawn of the ages. We have wasted time and we have taken for granted the seriousness of set apartness. We have walked about thinking we have the freedom to do whatever we choose. We have disregarded the words, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the Almighty Father. Rarely do we emphasize the importance of knowing that the living Almighty One gives us breath moment by moment for a purpose, and that we find favor, and there are things that we must and will come to recognize that should and will be done. For those who will fulfill the final end time prophecies, it will become clear why we are receiving that breath from the Almighty Father. The days of misunderstanding and neglecting the life and the words liberty are about to change. We are about to realize that the liberty that we have in Yahushua Mashiach is a liberty for his spirit to move about and guide us as he sees fit. If the spirit of Yahushua didn't have liberty working in us, how then can we say that he is one with the Almighty? If he is tied and tethered to shackles with people forming rules saying where he can and can't go. I submit to you that liberty is the liberty for the set apart spirit of the Almighty Father sent in Yahushua's name to guide and direct us. It is not a liberty for us to do what we desire. Soon we will come to know this. Pray and watch. Individuals who will be alive during the Great Tribulation, who are not appointed to the wrath of the Almighty Father, are about to face a major transformation. Martyrs for Yahushua's name are about to be fortified with courage and strength beyond one's imagination as end times get intense. We will begin to escape temple deceptions and begin looking at each life individually and looking at our lives collectively as the most important house of the Spirit of the Almighty Father through his set apart spirit in Yahushua's name. We will come away from temple deceptions and the influence that a building has on us. We will be free from the stronghold of all the wicked influences that such a building brings. We will come to know that it is not about the synagogue of Satan and their third temple that they are erecting to try to convince the world that they are the chosen. Truth is about to emerge, my brothers and sisters, with a power and a might unknown to man to this day. Let me now present the possibility of why many believe the so-called third temple of Israel is widely perceived and accepted as important. As you hear these words in or research these scriptures, beware, for there are those who lean only on the literal and contextual, who are void of listening to the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua, who would have you be deceived. Beware of such teachings and practices. Now the literal and the contextual have their place. Make no mistake. But if we fail to discern the Spirit of Yahushua making alive the literal and the contextual, if we fail to discern the living presence of the set-apart authority of Yahushua Mashiach's Spirit working within us, then we will fall short of what is truly set apart. Let me begin. Daniel 11:31. Daniel 11:31 reads, "And strong ones shall rise from him and profane the set-apart place, the stronghold, and shall take away that which is continual, and set up the abomination that lays waste." Daniel 12:11 is saying, "From the time that which is continual is taken away, and the abomination that lays waste is set up, is 1,290 days." Matthew 24, verse 15 through 23 reads, "So when you see the abomination that lays waste spoken of by Daniel the prophet set up in the set-apart place, he who reads, let him understand." See, when it says that set-apart place, people are thinking that this is talking about a building made with hands. And I will speak on this more. Let me continue with these verses. It said, "Then let those within Judea or Yehuda flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not come down and take whatever out of his house. And let him who is in the field not turn back to get his garments. And woe to those who are pregnant and those who are nursing children in those days. And pray that your flight does not take place in the winter or on Shabbat." I want to pause for a minute. How many people get it when it say pray that it doesn't take place on winter or on Shabbat? Winter, the excuse, the struggle, the fights would be it's too cold to be trying to get out of here. Shabbat would be, oh, we're not supposed to work. We're supposed to just be resting. See, many will fail to realize that Shabbat was made for man, not man for Shabbat. And so to avoid such conflict, we see the Mashiach telling us, pray that it doesn't happen on that so we won't have to deal with that conflict. That and many other reasons why this is said to us. Let me continue. Matthew 21 through 23. "For then there shall be great distress, such as hath not been since the beginning of the world unto this time, no, nor ever shall be. And if those days were not shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the sake of the chosen one, those days shall be shortened. If anyone then says to you, look, here is the Messiah, or there, do not believe." That was Matthew 24:15 through 23. 2 Thessalonians 2:3 through 5 reads, "Let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first, and the man of lawlessness is to be revealed, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called the Almighty One, or that is worshipped, so that he sits as the Almighty One in the dwelling place of the Almighty One, showing himself that he is the Almighty One. Do you remember that I told you this while I was still with you?" Again, they look at that fourth verse in 2 Thessalonians 2, chapter 2, when it says, "in the dwelling place of the Almighty One," and many believe that this is referencing the third temple. My brothers and sisters, these are only a sample of passages used to embrace the notion that there will be a third temple of Israel built, and that end-time prophecy is centered around this. Again, beware of those who latch on to the literal and contextual without regards to listening to the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua. I submit to you that it is not referencing a building made with hands. Beware, the enemy, the synagogue of Satan, will have you use your own intellect, will tell you to trust your own mental abilities, and have you embrace delusions. I submit to you that the efforts of erecting the third temple of Israel is a ploy, deception, and actions of the wicked. Actions from the synagogue of Satan, who are trying to convince the world that they are the chosen, who are erecting a building that they want everyone to focus on, to believe that that's where the Messiah will be. Pray and watch. Proof will come, my brothers and sisters. I have more to say on this matter. So I ask that you stay tuned for part 3 of this multi-part segment, Temple Deceptions. Stay tuned, my brothers and sisters, as we continue with part 3. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.